What's up everybody, Mr. Mac here, and I am looking at the test. Alright, so as I look at this test, the first thing that I can tell you, now you've seen the layout of this test on the review bonanza, and as I look at the first 15 questions, I see some AP style questions. You've known this was coming for a while. The best advice I can give you on this part, Kahoots will help you, Quizlet will help you, vocabulary will help you, and your knowledge from class will help you. But what will help you more than anything on these first 15 questions is turning your brain on and making sure that you are thinking critically through these questions. Because yes, there is vocabulary, there are concepts that you are familiar with, but there is no substitutes for reading through the sources, reading the answer options carefully, and digging the correct answers out. I certainly can't, as much as I would love to narrow down the content of these first 15 questions because it does span the first 5 periods of the class. I certainly see something here. Here's a question from period 4 about one of the compromises. Here's a question about a slave insurrection. Here's a question from period 1. I mean, I see a lot of stuff really from all over the place. Another question from period 1 right here. Another question from period 1. So maybe there is a little bit of advice there that it looks like these first 15 questions do lean a little bit harder on the early half of class, particularly the first 3 periods. But like I said, it does span all over. Here's something on the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Here's a question on Dred Scott v. Sanford. A couple of really important things there. So like I said, with the first 15 questions, there is no substitute for simply turning your brain on and being willing to think critically, because these questions are not straightforward. There's going to be some digging within the sources to find the answers. Now here I am on section 2 of the test. Now this is the matching section of the test, and I'll be honest with you, I think this part of it is going to be extremely realistic for you if you've been paying attention, if you've been playing the Kahoots, if you've been looking at the Quizlets, if you've looked through the review bonanza, if you've been in class. I think that this particular section of the test is going to be pretty darn easy for you, and I think that you'll pretty much knock this out of the park. As much as I would love to narrow this down, yet again, this does span all 5 sections of the test. I'm looking at right here something maybe about the difference between the first and second Great Awakening. I would certainly know that. I would know who made up the Iroquois Confederation. That's pretty darn important. I'm looking here at some questions about slavery. As always, every section of this test, particularly because it does encapsulate the first 5 units, there is going to be a lot of talk about slavery, African Americans, about women, particular question about a women's conference in here. Now as I get into the final section of the test, this is the cause and effect section, and it's not that much different from the matching section. Again, it's going to cover a lot of the stuff that we went over on the Kahoot. I see another thing on here about Dred Scott v. Sanford. Some of these questions, if I'm being honest with you, I didn't bother adding them to the Kahoot because I felt like you knew them so well. Your knowledge of a lot of these topics that you're going to see on here is just about encyclopedic. So my advice for you on that front is, in this last section, on sections 2 and 3, after you've done the more difficult first 15 questions on the AP test, is make sure that you're getting these questions right, okay? They are sort of sectioned off in the sense that it's not just 21 terms and 21 definitions. It is sectioned off so that each term has 5 possible definitions to go with it. So make sure that you're just paying close attention on this last part. I do see, like I said, it spreads just like the matching section from sections 1 to 5. I see a Bacon's Rebellion question on here. I see Lincoln Douglas debates on here. Might be something to look into. I see a question about the Liberator on here. Now, in the last part for the SAQ, we're going to have 2 of these. By the time that you watch this video, you likely will have seen your 4 options, and we are narrowed down to 2 here, and I can't tell you exactly what those are because I already gave you 4. So this has been Looking at the Test.